Have you ever felt a subtle chill in a friendship? A sudden coolness from someone you thought you knew well? Or a persistent, nagging feeling that someone just doesn't quite wish you well, even if they never say it outright? It's a strange, unsettling experience, isn't it? Especially as we navigate the later chapters of life, when we hope for deeper connections, not hidden resentments. We invest our time, our energy, our stories into these relationships, and to sense an underlying current of disapproval or even a quiet animosity can be genuinely heartbreaking. It makes you question yourself, wonder what you might have done, and often you blame yourself for something you can't even name. This silent, secret dislike isn't always about you. In fact, it rarely is. It often springs from a much deeper wellspring within the other person, something the renowned psychologist Carl Jung spent his life exploring. He understood that what we project onto others often reveals more about ourselves than it does about them. In this video, we're going to gently uncover 7 subtle signs that someone might secretly harbor ill feelings towards you as you get older, and how Carl Jung's powerful insights can help us understand and navigate these challenging dynamics with grace and wisdom. Watch all the way to the end, because there's something truly surprising that could change how you view these difficult interactions forever. So, let's dive right in and explore the first of these signs, a very common one that often slips under the radar because it's rarely direct. It's what we call passive aggression. Think about it. Have you ever had someone give you a backhanded compliment? Something that sounds nice on the surface, but leaves a sour taste in your mouth. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, you look well for your age," or "That's a brave outfit choice," delivered with a slightly too sweet smile. Or perhaps they'll consistently forget to tell you about gatherings, meetings, or social plans, only to feign innocent surprise when you mention you weren't informed. It's a subtle way of expressing disapproval or resentment without having to be confrontational. They might use sarcasm that feels a little too sharp, or express concern that subtly undermines your efforts or achievements. For instance, you share exciting news about a new hobby you've picked up, and their immediate response isn't congratulations, but a cautionary tale about someone else who tried something similar and failed, or a worried question about whether you're overdoing it. This isn't genuine care. It's a veiled attempt to dampen your enthusiasm or diminish your success. From a Jungian perspective, passive aggression is often a manifestation of someone's unacknowledged shadow. The shadow, as Jung described it, is the part of ourselves that we repress or deny, traits, emotions, and desires we deem unacceptable. When someone can't directly express their anger, jealousy, or insecurity, they might project these feelings onto you in a roundabout way. They see something in you, perhaps your vitality, your independence, or your joy, that reminds them of something they've suppressed or feel they lack in themselves. Instead of addressing their own internal discomfort, they subtly chip away at you. It's not about you being inherently bad or doing something wrong. It's about their own internal struggle being reflected outwards. The practical advice here is not to confront them directly about their passive aggression, which often leads to denial and further frustration. Instead, recognize it for what it is: a sign of their internal disquiet. Disquiet. Respond with calm, polite directness, or simply let it wash over you. If someone says, "You look well for your age," a simple, genuine, "Thank you, I feel great," can disarm them far more effectively than defensiveness. Do not engage with the veiled negativity. Simply acknowledge the superficial words and move on. Protecting your emotional peace. Moving on from those subtly undermining comments. The second sign to watch out for is exclusion or subtle isolation. As we grow older, our social circles might naturally shift, but this sign is different. This is when someone consistently makes you feel like an outsider, subtly or overtly. Imagine a group conversation where you try to contribute, but your comments are ignored, or someone quickly changes the subject. It's not accidental. It feels deliberate. Or perhaps there are social events you suddenly find yourself not invited to, even though you were always included before. And when you ask about it, there's always a vague excuse. "Oh, it was just a small, spontaneous thing, or we thought you'd be busy. This isn't just an oversight, it's a pattern of being left out, of being made to feel invisible or unwanted within a social context you once shared. It could manifest in a family setting, a community group, or even within a close friendship where you feel yourself slowly being nudged to the periphery. They might talk around you, or direct all of their attention to others when you are present, making you feel like a ghost in the room. Jung's insight here is profound. When individuals exclude others, they are often unconsciously creating an other onto whom they can project their own unwanted feelings of loneliness, inadequacy, or even their own perceived outsider status. They might feel isolated themselves, or fear becoming isolated. And so they act out this fear by isolating someone else. It's a way of establishing perceived superiority or control within a social dynamic. Sometimes, it can be a manifestation of envy. If they envy aspects of your life, they might unconsciously try to diminish your social standing or happiness by cutting you off from shared experiences. It's a harsh truth, but when someone goes out of their way to exclude you, it's often because your presence highlights something they struggle with internally. To protect yourself, don't chase after their inclusion. If someone consistently excludes you, gently pull back. Invest your time and energy in people who genuinely welcome and value your presence. Seek out new connections or deepen existing ones where you feel truly seen and appreciated. Your worth isn't determined by whether one person includes you, but by the richness of your genuine connections. The third sign we'll discuss often goes hand in hand with the previous two, and that's constant criticism or finding fault. This isn't constructive feedback. It's a relentless stream of minor put-downs, corrections, or negative observations about you, your choices, or your life. Maybe you proudly share a new achievement, and their immediate response is to point out a flaw or a potential pitfall. You might hear comments like, "Are you sure you should be doing that at your age?" Or "I heard someone else tried that, and it didn't end well." It could be about your appearance, your opinions, your habits. Anything and everything can become a target. They might nitpick your words, correct small details unnecessarily, or express exaggerated concern about your decisions, which feels more like judgment than genuine care. The goal, whether conscious or not, is to chip away at your confidence and make you feel less than. It's like they have a magnifying glass trained on your imperfections, real or imagined. While overlooking everything positive about you, they might even frame their criticism as just being honest or telling it like it is. But the persistent negative tone and lack of balance reveal a different underlying motivation. Jungian psychology helps us understand this as a powerful form of projection. When someone is constantly critical of others, they are often projecting their own self-criticism, their own unacknowledged flaws, or their own feelings of inadequacy onto you. They might have a very harsh inner critic that they turn outwards. By focusing on your perceived faults, they can temporarily distract themselves from their own deep-seated insecurities or feelings of failure. They might feel a need to control their environment or the people in it, because they feel a lack of control in their own lives. So, they try to exert influence through criticism. This behavior isn't about you being flawed. It's about their discomfort with their own shadow side, your very existence, your independent choices, or your happiness might inadvertently highlight their own unfulfilled potential or regrets, leading them to try and diminish you. When faced with constant criticism, remember that it reflects more on the giver than on you. Don't internalize it. You don't need to defend yourself or argue. A simple, calm "thank you for sharing your perspective" can be enough. Or a boundary setting, "I'm comfortable with my decision." Your peace of mind is more valuable than trying to change someone who is determined to find fault. Now that we've explored these first three subtle signs, passive aggression, exclusion, and constant criticism, let's continue to uncover more of these hidden dynamics that Carl Jung spoke so powerfully about, understanding that they are rarely personal attacks, but rather reflections of an internal landscape. Next, we'll dive into a particularly insidious sign, one that can be very difficult to spot because it often masquerades as something positive: envy disguised as concern. This sign appears when someone expresses worry or offers advice that, while sounding supportive, actually aims to undermine your successes or dampen your spirits. For example, you might share exciting news about a new venture, a significant life change, or even just a wonderful trip you're planning. And their immediate reaction isn't genuine happiness for you. Instead, it's a cascade of what ifs and be carefuls. They might say, "Oh, that sounds lovely. But aren't you worried about all the risks?" Or, "Are you sure you can manage all that at your age?" Or, "I hope you've thought about how difficult that might be." It's not just a polite query. It's delivered with an underlying tone that suggests you're being naive, foolish, or simply incapable. They might even tell you stories of others who failed at something similar, all under the guise of just looking out for you. The key differentiator here is the feeling you get. Do you feel uplifted and supported? Or do you feel subtly deflated and questioned when it's envy? The concern often feels heavy, loaded, and leaves you feeling less enthusiastic about your own plans. From a Jungian perspective, envy is a powerful, often unconscious, emotion rooted in a sense of lack or inadequacy within oneself. When someone sees another person experiencing joy, success, or freedom that they secretly desire but feel unable to achieve, they might project their own feelings of deprivation onto the other person. They can't celebrate your success because it highlights their own perceived shortcomings. So, they attempt to diminish your experience, not by direct criticism, but by subtly injecting doubt and fear. They might not consciously hate you, but they resent what you have or what you're doing because it mirrors something they feel they've lost or never attained. Their concern is a defense mechanism, a way to cope with their own feelings of envy without directly acknowledging them. It's important to remember that their concern isn't about protecting you, it's about protecting their own fragile ego. When faced with this, you don't need to justify your choices or argue your case. A simple, "I appreciate your concern, but I've got it covered," or "I'm excited about this, and I've thought it through," can be enough. Don't let their projected anxieties dim your light. Continue to pursue what brings you joy, knowing that their concern is a reflection of their inner world, not your capabilities. Now that we've touched upon the subtle undermining of disguised envy, let's move to another common sign dismissal of your achievements or experiences. This one can be particularly hurtful because it invalidates your past and present contributions. Imagine sharing a story from your life. Perhaps a significant professional accomplishment, a cherished memory, or a challenging experience you overcame. And the person either swiftly changes the subject, makes a dismissive comment, or tries to one-up you with their own, often exaggerated, similar experience. They might say, "Oh, everyone did that," or "That's not really a big deal," or "You think that's tough. Let me tell you what I went through." It's as if your life story, your wisdom, and your personal triumphs hold no weight in their eyes. Your experiences are trivialized, your wisdom is ignored, and your insights are brushed aside. This isn't just a simple lack of interest. It's a consistent pattern where your contributions to a conversation, especially those that highlight your competence or positive experiences, are consistently downplayed or overlooked. They might interrupt you frequently when you're speaking about something personal and redirect the conversation back to themselves, or express boredom. Even subtly, when you are sharing something important to you, Jungian insight suggests that this dismissal often stems from a deep-seated insecurity and a need for self-validation within the individual. When someone feels diminished themselves, perhaps by age, changing circumstances, or unfulfilled potential, they may struggle to acknowledge the achievements or positive experiences of others. Your successes, big or small, might unconsciously highlight their own feelings of inadequacy or regret. So, they attempt to balance the scales by minimizing your achievements or by trying to appear superior by one-upping you. It's a compensatory behavior. They aren't truly interested in your experience because their focus is entirely on managing their own internal sense of worth. Your story becomes a threat to their self-perception, rather than an opportunity for connection or shared joy. To navigate this, recognize that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth or the validity of your experiences. Do not seek their validation. If someone consistently dismisses your contributions, you have the power to limit how much you share with them. You can pivot the conversation, or simply end it gracefully. Your stories and achievements are valuable, regardless of whether a particular individual acknowledges them. Seek out those who truly listen, celebrate with you, and value the richness of your life journey. Finally, for this section, let's talk about gossip or spreading rumors, a more overt but still often secret sign of underlying animosity. This isn't just casual chit-chat about others. This is when someone actively engages in negative talk about you behind your back, exaggerating your flaws, misrepresenting your actions, or outright fabricating stories. You might only discover this through a third party who comes to you with a concern. Or you notice a strange coolness from people who've heard something negative about you. The person who secretly harbors ill feelings often uses gossip as a weapon. They might spread half-truths about your health, your finances, your family, or your decisions, painting you in an unfavorable light. Their goal is to diminish your reputation, isolate you from others, or simply revel in your perceived misfortune. They often do this with a veneer of concern, saying things like, "I'm just so worried about your name," before launching into a detailed negative account. Or they might act as if they are simply sharing information, but the intent is clearly to lower others' perception of you. This behavior can be particularly damaging because it undermines trust and creates a toxic atmosphere around you, without ever needing direct confrontation. From a Jungian perspective, engaging in gossip and spreading rumors is often a projection of one's own unacknowledged shadow qualities, such as envy, resentment, or a desire for control or attention. When people are deeply unhappy or insecure within themselves, they may try to alleviate their own pain by tearing down others. By focusing on your supposed flaws or missteps, they can feel momentarily superior or distract themselves from their own issues. It's a way of externalizing their inner turmoil and displacing their own shame or inadequacy onto someone else. Sometimes, it's a desperate attempt to gain social currency or power within a group by being the keeper of negative information. It is also often rooted in a deep-seated envy. If they cannot attain what you have or what they perceive you have, they seek to destroy it through reputation damage. If you discover someone is gossiping about you, resist the urge to retaliate or engage in the same behavior. Directly confronting a gossiper often fuels their fire. Instead, focus on living authentically and strengthening your relationships with people who value truth and kindness. Trust that those who genuinely know and care about you will see through the rumors. Your integrity and character will speak louder than any fabricated story. Now, as we move into our final sign and conclusion, we'll uncover the deepest insight from Carl Jung that helps us understand the true nature of these difficult dynamics and how to truly protect our peace. This leads us to our final, and perhaps most subtle, sign that someone might harbor a secret dislike, and that is sudden withdrawal or unexplained coldness. Imagine a relationship that was once warm, friendly, or at least consistently cordial. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, without any clear conflict or conversation, the person becomes distant, aloof, or outright cold. Their responses become minimal, their invitations stop, and their general demeanor towards you shifts from open to closed. You might try to reach out, to understand if something is wrong, but your efforts are met with vague excuses, evasiveness, or a complete lack of engagement. They might appear pleasant to others in your presence, but when it comes to you, there's a distinct chill in the air, a barrier that wasn't there before. This isn't just about someone being busy or having a bad day. It's a sustained pattern of emotional withdrawal, a sudden cessation of the previous connection without any explanation or justification. It leaves you feeling confused, hurt, and often wondering what you did to cause such a dramatic shift. They might avoid eye contact, physically distance themselves, or simply reduce all interactions to the bare minimum, making you feel as if you've been iced out. From a Jungian perspective, this sudden withdrawal can be a complex manifestation of internal conflict, often rooted in their own shadow material or unresolved issues. Sometimes, it's a passive-aggressive act of punishment or resentment that they cannot express directly. They might perceive something in you that triggers their own deep-seated fears, insecurities, or unacknowledged negative emotions. Perhaps your happiness reminds them of their own sadness, or your independence triggers their feelings of being trapped. They can't confront these feelings within themselves, so they withdraw from the source of the trigger, which is you. This withdrawal allows them to maintain their internal equilibrium by avoiding anything that might force them to confront their own difficult emotions. It's also possible that they have projected their own unwanted traits onto you and now find your presence unbearable because it reflects something they deeply dislike about themselves. It's not about you being difficult or offensive. It's about their inability to process their own inner landscape. They might also be struggling with their own process of aging or with life changes, and instead of seeking support, they withdraw and lash out indirectly. So, how do you respond to this baffling coldness? It's tempting to chase after them, to demand an explanation, or to try and fix whatever you think you might have broken, but often, this only pushes them further away or reinforces their unspoken resentments. The most powerful thing you can do is to acknowledge their behavior, but not internalize it. Respect their need for distance. Even if you don't understand it, direct, calm inquiry like, "I've noticed a shift between us, and I wanted to check in if everything is all right." Can be helpful, but if met with evasiveness, know when to let go. You cannot force someone to engage with you, especially if their reasons for withdrawal are rooted in their own unconscious struggles. Instead, focus on nurturing relationships where connection flows freely and naturally. Your peace and self-worth are too important to be continually eroded by someone else's unexplained coldness. Now, as we bring our conversation to a close, we've gently explored these 7 subtle signs that someone might secretly harbor ill feelings towards you as you get older. We've looked at the sting of passive aggression, the pain of being subtly excluded, the constant drip of criticism that seeks to wear you down, the veiled negativity of envy disguised as concern, the invalidation that comes from the dismissal of your life's achievements, the quiet destruction of gossip and rumors, and finally, the bewildering chill of sudden, unexplained coldness. The core insight from Jung. The truly surprising thing I mentioned at the beginning is this: when someone projects these negative feelings onto you, when they seemingly hate you in secret, it is almost never about you. It is almost always a reflection of their own inner turmoil, their own unacknowledged shadow, those parts of themselves they dislike, deny, or fear, their resentment, their envy, their criticism. It's a mirror, showing them something they can't bear to see within themselves. Your presence, your light, your very being might simply be highlighting a void or an unfulfilled aspect of their own life. It's a profound realization, isn't it? It means you don't have to carry the burden of their secret dislike. You don't have to change who you are to please them. You don't have to engage in a battle that isn't yours to fight. Understanding this perspective is incredibly liberating. It frees you from the endless loop of self-blame and confusion. It allows you to respond not with defensiveness or hurt, but with a sense of clarity and compassion for their internal struggle, while still protecting your own emotional well-being. It means you can choose peace over conflict, self-respect over seeking their approval. As we age, our time and energy become even more precious. It's vital to surround ourselves with people who uplift us, who see our worth, and who celebrate our journey. You have the wisdom, the resilience, and the power to cultivate relationships that truly nourish your spirit. Remember, every single one of us is on our own unique path, navigating our own internal world. While we can't control how others perceive or react to us, we absolutely can control how we respond. Choose kindness, choose understanding, and most importantly, choose to protect your own inner peace and joy. You deserve to live your best life, surrounded by genuine warmth and respect, at every single age. What are your thoughts on these signs? Or perhaps you've experienced something similar. Share your insights and your wisdom in the comments below. Your experiences can truly help others who might be quietly struggling with these same dynamics. And if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. A like helps more people find this message. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos designed to help you live your most vibrant and fulfilling life. Thank you for spending this time with me. Live your best life at every age.